Run it back from the top. All right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Monday afternoon. Another edition of Knicks Weekly presented by Manscaped, episode 100. Go to manscaped.com, use our code KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping. On this episode, do the Knicks have enough to beat the Celtics? I'm talking to you, team Run It Back. Call us up, 657-383-1509, or hit us up on the KFTV Discord. We're going to take a look at these NBA Finals through a Knicks lens. Plus, there is one offseason move that executives around the league are unanimous on as it relates to the Knicks. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about the Precious Achiuwa season review, man. We're going to go back into our underdog series, talk about Precious Achiuwa, and as it relates to the Knicks offseason, what the Knicks will do in terms of Precious Achiuwa's contract, man. So lock in. Let's talk about it, man. Call us up, 657-383-1509, or hit us up on the KFTV Discord. Let's get to it, man. Business as usual. The off-season, but always the on-season, man. You guys know what time it is. Episode 100. And I got my episode 100 balloon in here. You know, I can't even control the props. But, yo, salute to everybody in the chat, man. Salute to my franchise channel members. My 2 cents is on the grind. He says, hard day, could use some Knicks talk. That is why we are here. It is the off-season, but it's always on. We don't stop. The grind don't stop. We got business to take care of. So salute to everybody in the chat. Salute to my franchise channel members, Mr. Duns, Daniel Bosajor, salute. J Rose, I see you in here. Salute. Flizzy Flex, always in here. Building Blocks, salute. Pytho Nick, salute, man. Salute to everybody watching on Facebook. Jamal, Mr. Man, DJ Mr. Man on the check-in. Brooklyn, stand up. Salute to Brooklyn, of course. Of course. And salute to everybody watching on Twitter. And speaking of watching, I hope you guys are watching the NBA report with CP the Franchise and Kenyon Martin and NBA Finals post-game live. Me and Kmart chopping it up, man, going through the highlights, analysis, caller reactions, the whole 9 yards, just like we do on KFTV, but from an NBA Finals point of view. Hopefully you guys are over there on the NBA report checking that out, because that has been a hot ticket, no question about it, man. But speaking of the NBA Finals, let's get into it. You know, for you basketball fans, you guys are tuning in. And for you guys that are Celtic haters, you know, Porzingis haters, or just can't stand to see anybody but the Knicks doing anything, you guys are probably throwing up. But we are seeing the Celtics right now, as of, 2 games in, kind of manhandling the Mavs. Kind of manhandling them. And this Celtics team is looking like a formidable force right now. Up 2-0 on the series. They beat the Dallas Mavericks 105-98 last night. Jrue Holiday, 26 points. A two-way force. You got the Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum going in. And the Celtics are looking really, really good. And the thing about the Celtics that you really have to admire, at least I do, because we're talking about how do we put a championship contender on the floor. For real. Not we can do this. We're not aspirational. We're not going from aspiration. How do we put a real chip contender on the floor? And you look at this Celtics team and kind of dissect what Brad Stevens and this front office has been able to do. And before Brad Stevens, it was Danny Ainge, what they've been able to do. It started with getting the Jaylens in the mix. And they've, just added and tweaked around those guys. Horford was part of that original core. And then he ends up getting traded. This is not Boston Celtics history day here. But just to show you, they ultimately go out there and get a Porzingis, get Derek White first, get Porzingis and get Jrue Holiday. And here we are. This team is looking filthy right now. They have, starting at the point of attack, 2 of their guards in Holiday and White are all NBA defense. You have the 2 Jaylens on the wing. Formidable defenders. Jaylen Brown could have made all defense. Look at the defense that he's playing in this finals. He's got Kyrie in jail. making it tough on Luka Doncic, and Luka's going to get his, but still tough. Jaylen Brown's a tough defender. Then in the middle, Porzingis showed some shot deterrence, especially in game 1. I thought he had 3 blocks in game 1. Game 2 as well, had a block in game 2. And they've become ferocious defensively. A lot of people look at the Celtics offense and they look at, the amount of guys that can beat you offensively. But defensively, they've been locked in. Starting with White and Holiday. I mean, those two guys, you got those two pit bulls chasing you around all night. It's going to be a long night. And when they want to, they'll pick you up 94 feet. They'll switch the coverages up. And it's going to be a long night for you. So there are a lot of ways for this Celtics team to beat you. And then on top of that, they didn't even shoot the 3-ball all that well last night. They shot 26% from 3 last night. But it was their defense that carried them. They held Dallas to 98 points. So a lot was made about the Celtics and their 3-point offense. Too shot happy, too much 3-pointers. Well, they didn't need it last night to win. They got it in the ski mask way. And just got it in with stop after stop, clutch stop after clutch stop. From Jrue Holiday, almost forcing an 8-second violation in the fourth quarter that turned into a steal, which turned into a Holiday 3, to the last play of the game. Now, a lot of you guys want to say Jaylen Brown pushed in the back, whatever the case is. You got a Jaylen Brown and a Derek White block at the rim on P.J. Washington. So defensively is where they're really turning up here. So the question is, from a Knicks standpoint, let's break this thing down. And again, I want to hear from Team Run It Back. A lot of you guys are saying we have enough. We could have challenged them. If Jalen and OG and those guys were healthy, we could even challenge them this year. That's what I heard from a lot of you guys. Is that true? I don't necessarily agree. And this is where this thing gets tricky, because on a team like this in Boston, who can shot create 1 through 5, yeah, everybody's not shot creating at a superstar all-star level. That's impossible, but capable. Where's their weaknesses on offense? Where are their weaknesses on defense right now? Is it Horford? Okay, well, Horford can go on the bench. You got Porzingis out there. So the 5s are the 5 in terms of Horford is susceptible, and maybe they're bench players, but starter standpoint, where are the holes in the defense? Where are the holes in the offense for the Celtics? So when we look at this Knicks team, how it's presently constructed, hey, starts at the top. Brunson, number 11. You have a dynamo, superstar, shot creator, elite offensive weapon. That's a great start. But this is why I continue to say the number 2. Yes, Julius. Biggest question mark. Because you need at least that to have a shot here. And we're seeing for Dallas, right now, if Luka and Kyrie don't score damn near 70 combined, they might not have a shot at this. Because behind those guys, they don't have enough shot creation. At least Brunson is guaranteed to get you to that dance, and he's guaranteed to perform. Or it's close to a guarantee. I don't want to say guarantees. No guarantees in life, but it's close to it. He showed us 2 years in a row that he can get the job done. Is Julius coming along for the ride? It will once again be the biggest question mark going into the Knicks season 24-25. Because a lot of you guys in the Julius camp, and I'm with you. Run it back with Julius. And my point is, run it back with Julius unless you can get something better. But for the run it backs, remember, postseason is a different animal. We haven't seen Julius perform at an all-time level in the postseason yet. And some of you guys want to put the injuries on it. You want to put the COVID year, all of that. Fine. But the fact is a fact. We haven't seen it. And when you get to games 83 and beyond, it's not the same as game 3, 13, 23, 33, 43. It's an endurance test. So even though you want to blame the injuries are part of it. Everybody's damn near banged up by the time you get to this point. But the real ones can still perform. And if Jalen's going to be that guy, we have to know, we need certainty here that Julius can come along for the ride. Because against a team like Boston, that is as deep as they are, and not going anywhere, barring any injuries, they're not going anywhere for a couple years. Do we have another guy that can go out there and get his shots and that can create for others? Because against this Boston team, there are no holes defensively. And now they're cutting off some of the Mavericks' strengths, which is the corner threes. Mavs haven't been hitting their corner threes. They are doubling down on the Mavericks on their drives and leaving a lot of these guys above the break. These P.J. Washington, Derrick Jones threes, they can have that. One thing I like about the Knicks is that we do have better three-point firepower than a lot of these teams. Like, I like Dante. I like OG. Brunson. So that's fine. Like, the supporting cast, I think it's fine. The question is that second elite offensive weapon that can make the defense pay, is it there, number 30? Will he be there for this team when they need him the most in the postseason? The one thing I like about Julius is that, number one, he adds to that Knicks identity of being a strong, physical, rebounding force. That Dallas doesn't have. They've gotten better. They've gotten a lot better. But are they all the way there? No, I don't see it. So he adds to that. And another thing I like is that even though he hasn't been the greatest at it, he's still a guy who can get you some higher percentage shots, attack the basket, and get you to the free throw line. That is going to be important against a team like the Celtics. Because what is the plan if your shots from the outside aren't falling? You need a formidable inside presence. And I think Julius has the potential to give us that. I also like, against a team like this, a guy like an iHeart. This is why I'm leaning more towards iHeart. And, again, Mitch is my guy. I don't, this is nothing personal. This is just business of basketball. Because Mitch has been a little bit tight. He's hearing his name in the rumblings. He's commenting on the KFTV Instagrams with the trade rumors. He wants redemption. I get it. I'm rocking my Block Nest tee today. But with iHeart, when you're going up against a aggressive defense like this that is so versatile and quick, you need guys that are going to be quick decision makers, guys that can put the ball on the floor, guys that can finish at the basket, that iHeart floater. I think that will be clutch against a team like the Celtics. So I like some of that supporting cast that the Knicks have. Question is just back on Julius, man, because you need elite shot creation and playmaking ability. You need that. You definitely need that, along with your depth. And this is why it's such a tough offseason for the Knicks. You need that depth. That's why I love Knicks fans. You got two comments in the chat that I think are extremely polarizing. Pac-Man Maine says Julius is not clutch. And Two Lifted in the chat says Julius has hit many game winners. He is clutch enough. All of these is in the regular season. It's all in the regular season. Postseason is different in the way that other teams are scheming on you, in the way that players enter into these games, how they feel. We heard Josh Hart talk about, and a lot of people are looking at Luka Doncic. Same one with the triple-double last night. Looked like he spent all his energy in the first half, and the second half he was a shell of himself. Got absolutely destroyed and was making bonehead decision after bonehead decision in the second half. Endurance. It gets the best of him. Josh Hart in last night's postgame show talked about the fact that in the Pacers series, in the Luka Doncic context, in the Pacers series, the Knicks were looking for ways to cover Jalen Brunson defensively because he had been so spent on the offensive end. And remember, Brunson was the one saying, I don't want to use injuries and stuff like that as an excuse. Here's Josh Hart saying, hey, guys are banged up. You have to think creatively in how you get guys a breather while they're on the court. Because they're taking a toll on their body when guys are picking them up 94 feet in the playoffs and being physical with them. So the question is, can he get them there? Can he get us there? And so, when you think about potential moves that this team can make, there's still a couple of guys that I think about here. You guys don't like the Spider thing. I push, falling off on the Spider thing. According to reports, doesn't seem like they're going to be as aggressive. But if you think about a guy like a Spider, who's elite at attacking the basket and finishing, and can create off of the dribble and off of his drives, would that necessarily be a bad idea? Because that not only gives you an elite shot creator at close distance, he's a guy that Brunson can play off of. And I thought we needed more of that in the playoffs. Utilizing Jalen Brunson not just in the ball in his hands and pounding away and driving to the basket, but also in the catch and shoot scenarios because he's such a good shooter. That's where Julius was missed in the playoffs as well. You didn't necessarily have a elite playmaker that could find Jalen Brunson in his spots and get him good looks off the ball. So that's why Spider's still intriguing. Of course, the fit, two ball dominant guys defensively, how would it work? I'm not here to tell you be perfect. But I'm here to tell you that a guy like that, I think offensively, could still help. DeJounte Murray. It's another guy. Knicks need playmaking. They need ball handling off the bench. They need an innings eater. Now, he doesn't have that great numbers in terms of finishing, but his athleticism, his ability to get shots in the mid-range, could he be another guy? I think he could be another target for the Knicks. And a lot of the guys, look, a lot of you guys like Dante. I love Dante. I think Dante's story this year was fantastic. But is he a guy that can go out there and get his own? He's not the greatest at it. He's a guy that you need to find and you need to assist. And he takes a lot of tough shots. But when they make you put the ball on the floor, a lot of times we see with Dante, it's difficult for him to finish, doesn't have the wingspan to finish. Mid-range can be a little bit dicey. Decision-making can be a little bit dicey. That's what you need here. Look at what Boston is doing 1 through 5. Look at what Boston's doing here 1 through 5. So it's not to say Ragu, it cannot be your premier starting 2. He was great last year. But I think adding more depth where you can have some versatility would be great as well. So I think about Spider. I think about DeJounte Murray. I think some of you guys are putting Zach LaVine out there. I'm good on that. Passing on Zach LaVine, guys. I don't know. Let's take a look at the numbers, shall we? Shall we take a look at the LaVine numbers here? $43 million next year, $45 the year after that, and a player option for $48. You go get Zach LaVine, and then re-sign OG Rand. You're in second apron palooza here. You're having a second apron party. I'm not doing that. And the Bulls are desperate now. They are in desperation mode to get rid of this guy. An injury-prone, bloated contract player that plays no defense. It's not worth it. If you're going to go into the second apron, at least in my opinion, you want to go in with a team that you are confident in. But to come and get a guy who's in the high 40s And by playoff time, he's not available because his knees, he's got a knee debridement or something like that. That seems like same old Knicks. Or the old Knicks, the old Knicks. You know? So I'm off the Levine track. Some of you guys did like DeRozan. This was an article from Chicago Sports, NBC Sports Chicago, on DeRozan. This was their GM, or the owner. This is Artur's. What's this guy's name? I'm butchering his name here. Karnisovas. All right. Vice President of Basketball Operation, Arturas. Okay. I don't know if he's Latvian or Lithuanian. But he says he wants DeRozan back. There was a report that they tried to negotiate with DeRozan this past season on a 2-year deal as close to 40 per. So DeMar wants to get a bag. So if you're the Knicks, he's another guy. He's in the 40 range. You're not getting DeMar for the mid-level or anything crazy like that. Are the Knicks willing to do that? You're looking at second apron territory here. So I would be out on that. I would definitely be out on that. See what people in the chat say. Python Nick, Zach will tie us up for years. Pass on that. For sure. For sure. So, I mean, all the names haven't come out yet. Offseason has not started yet. But just a couple of names because, like I said, yes, you need depth, but depth alone is not going to get you there. You still need talent. Look at how these finals are playing out right now. 2 games in, not over, but Boston is heavily in command. And the stars of Game 1 and Game 2, you could argue, have been Porzingis and Jrue Holiday, the 2 acquisitions. That is how deep they are. You had 6 Boston Celtics in double figures in Game 1. You had Jrue Holiday, the best player on the floor, in Game 2. Jrue Holiday. They got Jrue Holiday, too. That's who you have to contend with. All the talk about Jason Tatum, I think Jason Tatum is out there making winning plays for his team. He doesn't have to play like the superstar that everybody expects him to be. He doesn't have to put those numbers up. He's just doing what he needs to do to get his team wins, which is facilitating. I think Jason Tatum's having an excellent final so far. He's not shooting the ball all that well, but that's fine. He doesn't need to. But that is how deep they are as a team. And that's what the Knicks have to think about as we're building this team. It doesn't mean that, you need to put a finals contender out there next year. But as you make your moves and re-sign Brunson and sign OG and all these guys, we have to put that question out there. Do we have enough to beat Boston? And it's not just Boston that we have to think about. The other teams are going to get better. Is Milwaukee going to continue to slide, or do they find some improvements with the Dame and Giannis and Middleton experiment? Does Miami improve? Riley, after Miami got bounced out, he wasn't too happy. Do they make a move? I think Philly's going to make a move. They're sitting on a ton of cap space. They know that, their contendership status is resting on the legs of Joel Embiid, and that's wiltering by the year, so they need to make a move. They don't have time to stand around. Morey's not going to stand around. They're going to make a move. Whether it's Paul George or whoever the case may be, I think Philly's going to try to upgrade. So they're going to be tough. Does Orlando make a move? A lot of guys penciling Clay, maybe Clay or another wing, Paul George as well. I think Paul George ultimately stays with the Clippers, but will Orlando make a move? I'm seeing a couple names here, people throwing around. I don't know where you guys are. You guys keep dreaming about Mikal Bridges. Hey, I could be wrong. I don't see that ever happening as long as he's in a net uniform. I just don't see it. Unless there's some miraculous 3-team trade where Brooklyn just gets a steal. I don't see them ever trying to help the New York Knicks. And last year, last show, we showed you, like, the history of trades between the Knicks and the Nets is few and far between. Yeah, Cope, it's not happening. What's everybody throwing out Mikal Bridges for? That's a dream. Yeah, Caruso's cool. I'd love to get Caruso. I think Caruso would be perfect here. But that's not it. That's not alone. That alone is not going to do it. That alone is not going to do it. It'll make us a good team, a very good team. We want to be a great team. Right now, Boston's looking like a great team. And they've been doing it all year. Zach Edey's not saving this team. Well, and we're going to get into draft series. Starts up tonight. My guy Corey Tulliver of the No Ceilings podcast will be back at it tonight, 9 o'clock. So this is doubleheader duty, June 10th on the on-season. Doubleheader, KFTV. Keep it locked. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And call us up, man. What do you guys think? 657-383-1509. Jamal Mann in the chat on Facebook is throwing tomatoes at Zach Edey. He's not a fan. We'll talk about it. We're going to talk about it with Corey. We're going to talk about it with Corey. You know, Caruso's cool. Like, is there another upstart candidate that we can get? Another type of Brunson type? You know, somebody on my Twitter had mentioned Tari Eason. He's a guy I always like. Those are good moves, nice moves to add depth. I think we need wing depth. We need guard depth for sure. Center depth, just in case things happen with Mitch and Ihart. We need all of that. But the question will always remain, do we have enough elite shot creation and playmaking? And that lies with Julius Randle and potentially if they can get one more. Shout out to James Baker in the chat. D977 says trade for BI, put him at the 2. Really have to see like what the trade package for BI is going to look like. I mean, you're going to get BI for cheap. You can't get BI for cheap right now. Pelicans are still trying to compete in the West. Pelicans are trying to compete in the West, man. Can you get BI on a steal? I doubt it. He's another guy that gets banged up with knick-knack injuries. I look at him as a small-time player in the Cole Anthony Towns range. But he's got 2 more years left on his deal, and the thinking is that New Orleans is going to want to trade him for something before they lose him in free agency. And it looks like between Trey Murphy and what's this guy? What's this guy's name? I got his name at the tip of my head, but I can't. Fred Jones? Not Fred Jones. You guys know what I'm talking about, man. Pause on that as well. But between Jones and Murphy, looks like those 2 guys are going to be in there. You guys like BI? What do you guys think in the chat, man? You guys like BI? Put him at the 2. Depends on the price. Contract's not crazy. It's 33, 36. That's it. Herb Jones. There we go. I said Fred Jones. Herb Jones. Salute. Thanks in the chat. I mean, the price is right. Of course, I would look into it. Yeah, the price is right. You know, New Orleans wants a center. Maybe, you know, is Valanciunas going to be looking for that? Going back there, do they want Mitch? Anybody interested in Mitch? So, you know, does a Mitch Boyan contract interest the Pelicans? It's going to be difficult, man. So, a couple names you guys are throwing out there. You got Spider potential, DeJounte Murray, Brandon Ingram. No, I wasn't saying Herb Jones in relation to the Knicks. I was saying it seems like New Orleans it would keep Murphy and Jones, and looks like BI could be the odd man out. Because I think New Orleans is stuck. You know, BI is going to be the first guy out, and then Zion's going to be on notice. They're limited right now. I think the CJ experiment has run its course as well. Building blocks. CP, Fred Jones was that high-flying scrub we had back in the day. Yeah, shout out to Fred Jones, man. Once a Knick, always a Knick, right? Michael Porter Jr., I don't think we would have enough. You know, Denver, that stuff right there, I don't see the former defending champs or, whatever. I don't see them trading Porter Jr. unless it's a significant upgrade. Their biggest hit last season or this past season and when they got ousted was that they didn't have enough depth. And so if they're going to use him, I would think you're going to want somebody who can help you in the starters and get some more depth pieces as well. So I don't see MPJ as a realistic option. So team run it back. What do we think here, man? Uh-oh. I told you guys to call in. Nobody accepted the challenge, so we're going to go to the phones because one person did. There's always that one guy who's willing to step up to the challenge. He's been doing it for the last 7 years on this show. We got Ari from Manhattan in the building. Ari, what's good, man?
Yo. What up, CP?
How you doing, talk to me, man. Off season, on season. What's good, man? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I took the Game 7 loss quite hard. I've been trying to stay away from, the Knicks stuff for a little bit. Yeah. Focusing on, work and soccer. But here we are. Definitely wanted to come support you. Listen, man, I'm with you. The names that I hear, have we not learned from the past when you chase the shiny object? The Zach LaVines, the Karl Anthony Townses of the world, these overpriced superstars. Now with the second apron, things are, it's even worse to pay for overpriced superstars, right?
Yeah.
I don't see the problem. I know the Knicks aren't going to do it. I just don't see the problem in drafting two players, right? Get some rookie scale contracts on the books. Give me a two-way wing who could provide some insurance for OG. We see how valuable that guy is to our team. Give me some wing depth, right? Maybe get a backup big, in the hopes of maybe moving Mitch in the future. The two names that I do like a little bit, again, I've been out of the game for a little bit. I haven't really checked the contracts and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But I like, DeJounte Murray could be good. He could create shot creation, like you said. The asking price wasn't too much for him at the deadline. Looking back at it with how banged up we were in the playoffs and just the amount of, force and how beat up Jalen Brunson got, maybe making that the DeJounte Murray move would have been smart to do last year. Yeah. But either way, from my understanding, his contract isn't too bad. They're not looking to ask for too much. I think it was like a pick or two. So I would be open to that. Another name, and my concern here is about the contract and the extension, but I think a perfect fit in a perfect world would be Paul George if he wasn't trying to sign an extension for max money and be 37 years old and making $60 million or whatever, right? He's a two-way wing who could play offense and defense. He could create shots and, he could guard whatever, 1 through 4, something like that. He is a perfect fit, but from my understanding, he wants like a max extension, and I'm just not willing to do that. But what I would do if I was the Knicks, man, is I would draft players. I would develop the players, right? Mm-hmm. I'd rather run it back than make a Zach LaVine or Karl Anthony Towns or some crazy trade like that. And the elephant in the room, you said it. It's Julius Randle, man. He has the talent to do it. But my problem with everyone knows my problem with Randle. But yes. I just figure the guy's going to be due to get paid, and I'm not paying him, so I'm flipping him. That's what I would do. So I'm just not sold. I want high basketball IQ guys. I want guys that can make quick reads in high pressure moments. And Julius Randle is just not that guy for me. So just to sum it all up, draft your players, develop your players, get some wing depth. That's number one. Get some wing depth.
Yeah.
And, make sure you identify players that have no injury history, right? What have we learned from this past year? We're always injured, right? I love Mitchell Robinson, good player, but the guy's always hurt, right?
Yeah.
You have iHeart. You can draft the big in the draft. maybe look at trading him for some shot creation, a backup, a point guard, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But we have to stop this idea of just trading for a former all-star who has good PR. We're over that, right? We have a foundation, and my opinion is that the Nova boys and OG are the only four guys that I'm going to keep. But thank you. Keep doing what you're doing, CP. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share. And appreciate you as always, buddy.
Let's go. Ari checking in. Salute to my guy Ari, man. He's a KFTV day one. This is Knicks Weekly episode 100. I feel like Ari's been here for all of them. Man, I call in for all of them, but I think he's been here for all of them. You know? Oh, and speaking of episode 100, you know what? Since I got some franchise channel members in here, my franchise channel members, if you are in here, throw a custom emoji in the chat because we're going to do, I promised you guys another giveaway, man. We're going to do another giveaway today. For franchise channel members, this is for June and also celebrating episode 100. We're gonna give away the Kith T-shirt. This was given out at Madison Square Garden. Like I said, man, I like to give you guys a piece of the garden, especially you guys that have not been there or are from out of town. So you're gonna get the Kith T-shirt, the Kith poster. Speaking of Julius, that's him rocking some fly Kith gear, and then also we'll give you a playoff towel, man, straight from the garden. Playoff towel. What does this one say? Each game they said something else. Let's go Knicks. Playoff towel. All right. So that is going to be the pack. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Stay to the end of this show. All right. If Boss Man, some of you guys are on the grind, some of you guys are on the lunchtime break. But hey, you gotta tap in. So we're gonna keep rolling for maybe another like 15, 20 minutes or so, and get to the giveaway. Okay, I see my franchise channel members in here. D-Block 1755. Eric L. Beats. Eric, I got to send you your Mando stuff. Hit me up. Let's just meet up in the city. We can take care of that. Muhammad Mustafa, what's good? Checking in from the West Coast. We got Why Me in the building. I see you on the Discord. We're gonna get you up here on the Discord. Also, who else we got? Big Four from Harlem 319. Harlem World, stand up. How you feeling? Will Hooper, I see you. Justin, I see you. What's good? Harlem's Alfredo. Okay, so Harlem World is in here heavy, man. Harlem World is definitely in here heavy. Wherever you guys are tuning in from, throw your cities, throw your state, throw your countries in the chat. Let me know that you guys are in here, and we will chop it up. Shout out to Anton Thigpen. Enrique Gonzalez, $10 super chat. Appreciate you, man. Enrique Gonzalez, definitely appreciate it. So, again, couple housekeeping items. You have, for those of you that want to continue the NBA Finals talk, meet us on the NBA Report. We have myself, Kenyon Martin, doing post-game live. You also have Combos Court. We're going to have some more guests coming through this week. I think me and Steph Starberry are going to be doing some content for the NBA Report as well. And then tonight, draft talk. Already mentioned draft. Knicks have the 24th and the 25th pick. We're going to talk to the guys who are scouring the draft, scouring the prospect sheets, and get into it. We're going to break it all down. So make sure you guys come armed with questions. All right, I'll have my questions for Corey, but this is your show. This is your opportunity to learn about some of these potential draft picks that the Knicks could be fielding here. So make sure that you guys come through ready, and we're going to have that show at 9 o'clock tonight. Who else? Ari did mention Paul George. I'm good on playoff P, man. I'm good on playoff P. You know, Mark Spears, shout out to Mark Spears. He had mentioned the fact that, you know, this is just his opinion. He had mentioned, and Mark Spears, who works for, covers the league for Anscape, ESPN, he had mentioned the possibility of Paul George staying at home, that he valued playing in front of his family and things of that nature. And this is Paul George. He's from the West Coast. He's from L.A. You know, he's out there with the Clippers. They opening up the new stadium. He's got the Podcast P podcast. You know, where's he gonna record Podcast P? You know? Where's he going to record Podcast P at, man? And I want guys who are still hungry, man. I want a little bit younger, less injury prone, and still some hunger and desire to win a chip. Not to question playoff P, not to question Paul George. He's certainly, you know, done his days. But I'm good. Brandon Marcus, PG can stay at home. Yeah, I'm good on that. Scott Novak, I see you, man. Let's go. Shout out to So Rec Gaming. I'm good on PG, man. All right, YG on the Discord. YG, let's go.
CP is why me. What up?
Why
baby?
me? Why me? I said I'm still on West Coast vibes. I said YG. What's
Yeah, I
good?
was about to say you on West Coast time, bro. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I rep that neutral game.
Absolutely.
I'm from Harlem too, so we in the building.
Heavy.
Yo, listen, man. I like to consider myself a day one also, man.
Yes.
And I listen to this man. You know, no disrespect, bro. I don't want to call out names, but the previous caller go back and forth about who we should trade, who we should not trade. You know who was public enemy number one on his list, who we should have been getting rid of.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you know that he's not going anywhere for the last 7 years, you know that he's not going anywhere. Let's continue to build the team. If we can find somebody better, and the operative word is if, because in my opinion, at that spot, there's not too many people that are better that actually want to come play in New York. And then obviously playing in New York, it has a lot of I want to say it has a lot of things like going on with it. Cats want their money. They don't want to pay taxes. You got dudes like Zion, no disrespect to his situation, but he on child support. He can't come to New York. There's a lot of things going on where we can't get certain cats to play on this team. And you got to come here to work. This ain't leisure time. You come in here to work. You come in here to watch film. You come in here to be at practice. Then you got to watch film. Then you got to train. Then you got to play 40 minutes. Like, this is not a cakewalk. So it takes a certain character of a player that we need to come here. And that's what you will want anyway, because in my opinion, that's a person that's a winner. He wants to win at life, and he wants to win at basketball. Yeah. And I feel like we have like 9 to 10 of those guys. I think we need some better bench players that can give guys more of a rest throughout the regular season, and we won't have to push guys so hard. But, you know, Tibbs going to play who he trusts. And I think we need a running back, same squad, add maybe 1 or 2 bench players, try to, you know, make all the contracts work, because every contract got to work. You're not taking no cats that want extra money for less play and to be hurt. We're not doing it. So we in a good situation. It took Boston 8 years to get to the situation. They still have not won a championship yet. They've been sitting on this squad for
looking good.
Seasons.
Looking good. Yeah, but it's not the same squad though. Let's get credit. Not the same squad. It's only Horford, Tatum, and Brown. It's not the same squad.
The same core. They running around the same core. Yeah. So Brad Stevens is still there, the same coach, the same mentality. You know how I go. Yeah. But that's it. I don't want to be long-winded. But
appreciate the call.
At the end of the day, we out, bro.
Harlem World, stand up. Appreciate the call, man. Look, I'm here to run it back with Julius unless they can get a significant upgrade, but the bullseye is on him. The bullseye is on him. Can he help us get there? Brunson is doing all he can, but Brunson needs help. He was banged up. He doesn't want to admit it. He was banged up at the end of this thing. I saw it. I was in Philly, game 4. Man, went to the locker room. We didn't know if he was even coming out to finish the game, much less to finish with 48 points. And he's the same one that wants to tell you, I don't want to use injuries as an excuse. The guy was literally, went to the locker room for a solid 10 minutes in real time, maybe more than that, to the point where everybody's looking that direction, including the coach, to see if he's even coming out. All right? I've seen this guy after every timeout with an ice wrap around his knee. Then he goes out there and breaks his hand in Game 7. He needs help. By the time he leaves that game in Game 7 against the Pacers, you had no starters left running up and down the court. Needs real help. Needs real help. The lunch pail guys and the Nova guys are cool. You need another guy. And the Julius thing is cool. I get everybody. Look, you got to respect the guy. He wanted to come here and all of that. Sentiment is only going to get you so far. There's going to come a point where you got to produce. This is sports. That's the name of the game. So hopefully he can do it. I'm rooting for him. I hope so. I'm a Knicks fan. I hope all these guys win. But their success, I think, is largely going to rely on him being healthy and being able to produce. All that sentiment, he can come back to the barbecue when we look. You saw Legends Lounge. Legends Lounge is popping. Starberry came back. They got Spreewell back. Hey, listen. Dolan has shown you, no matter what, there's always a way to come back and get your flowers. So, same thing for Julius, all right? If it don't work out, it don't work out. We can talk about how much he embraced New York later. Right now, We need to produce. We want the chip. You could come back to the Legends Lounge and get your flowers later on in a couple years. All right, who's this? Core in the chat, $10 super chat, says trade Lowry for Julius if we can. I'm good. I'm good on that. I'm gonna tell you like I told the other caller. I'm good on that. I don't think New York is a Lowry town. I'll just say that. You know, I keep Julius over him. Some of you might think I'm crazy. I keep Julius over Lowry. You know, I'm that's just me. I'm keeping Julius. I'm keeping him. That's it. So there's that. Shout out to Gambit the Bard, 16-month franchise channel member. Says Booker T says, we want the gold, sucker. Shout out to Booker T. I've been catching a lot of old Booker T Harlem Heat clips on IG. You know, IG, once you watch one thing, the algorithm just sends you everything. So, you know, from the Hulk Hogan famous bar that he dropped on Hulk Hogan to like just random clips. Shout out to Booker T. I don't think he gets his flowers enough within the pro wrestling discussion. You know, maybe we'll have that conversation another time. We'll bring Kaz back and talk about it. So we'll talk about that. All right, so that was that on the Knicks and Boston. Something to think about. Leave me some comments in the comment section. Salute to the replay gang for sure. Now, you know, it's not clear on what moves the Knicks will make. But according to The Athletic, there is one move that anonymous execs are unanimous about in regards to what the Knicks are going to do in the offseason, and that is extending Thomas Thibodeau. The Athletic recently polled 8 front office officials, and shout out to our guy Fred Katz, friend of the program. The Athletic recently polled 8 front office officials who do not work for the Knicks, asking what would they deem as a fair extension. No one said that they wouldn't. No one said he would not extend Thibodeau. His current salary is $7 million a year. The 8 respondents answered within the 8-figure salaries, ranging from 10 to 13. So a lot of people, myself included, are thinking that the Tibbs bag is on the way. Now, as we take a look at some of the highest paid coaches here, according to Front Office Sports, you got Steve Kerr making 17 bags, well-deserved. Greg Popovich, 16, deserved. Spoelstra, 15, definitely deserved. I thought Spoelstra got a bigger bag than this. I thought Spoelstra became the highest paid. Or does that kick in another time? So when Spoelstra got his bag, it wasn't even the biggest deal? $120 million extension. Okay, but Popovich still makes more money. I guess Popovich and Kerr still make more money annually. Okay, then you got Monty Williams at 13. He's not doing anything. That's free money for him. And Budenholzer with the Suns just got 10. I think Tibbs will be... You don't want to make it less than Monty because Monty's not doing anything. I think he'll get about 14. That's my guess. I think Dolan gives him the bag. 14 for Tibbs. 5-year deal. What do you guys think in the chat? Hey, it ain't my money. Give him whatever he wants. He's earned it. And it doesn't count against the salary cap. So, hey, whatever he gives him, it will be well earned. This is a basketball lifer. Eats, sleeps, and breathes Knick basketball. He brought us back from laughing stock to respectability. We're going to put some respect on his name. We have to. So I think he gets about, 14? That's my prediction, 14. Gambit says 14 and a half. Yeah, I think it's going to be 14. All right? You can't have him making less than Monty with a 381 and 404 record. Monty didn't even want the job in Detroit. He just won the lottery. Keeping 100. And again, you go back on Tibbs' resume. Got us from laughingstock to respectability. Playoffs, 3 out of the last 4 years. 2 All-NBA players. 3 All-Star appearances. Well, Julius didn't play, but 3 All-Stars. What's his record with the Knicks? 175 and 143. 550 win percentage with the Knicks right now. Second round in 2 years straight. First time since 899. Quickly, 6th man of the year consideration. Improvements across the board. Guys getting paid. iHeart's about to get paid on the strength of Tibbs. Brunson about to get paid on the strength of Tibbs. I mean, Brunson's a great player, but hey. DiVincenzo improvements. Hart, Mitch, Deuce. Who would I leave out? He's earned it. He's earned it. Yeah, expectations are definitely going to be high. Not just for Tibbs, but for everybody after they all get the bag. Yeah, absolutely. Quick about to get a bag. So, I think this is a well-earned extension whenever the news does come. Doesn't count against the salary cap. They can give him $100 million a year. I don't really care. It's Dolan's money, not my money. This might mean a beer might cost you a little more. might go from 15 to 20. Somebody in chat's a kind of a low bar. I mean, you've seen improvements with the number of players. I just gave you what I just ripped off, about 10 players that have improved under this guy. I think he's done a great job. Sure, yes, he has his weaknesses. We know that. I think overall Tibbs has done a great job. So what do you guys think about that in the chat? Tibbs getting the bag soon. Leave me a comment and let me know what you guys think there. Cosmic DK, what do I think about news about Cat? I didn't see any news about Cat, but I don't want to see any news about Cat. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good on Cat. Any chance IQ accepts a vet minimum? Yeah, if his agent's the worst in the world. Sure. IQ is going to go somewhere and get the bag, and he will have earned it as well. I definitely think so. Do I think they put a games clause in OG's contract? I don't think they'll be that strict. You know? I don't think they'll be that strict. But I mean, anyway, to make all NBA anything, you got to play 65 games. So the NBA has almost put that clause in there themselves. So, you know, maybe there's a clause there. Hey, make all NBA, you get another bonus here, there. But that would be interesting for sure. I just don't see it. You know, it's not like football per se, where the owners are that shrewd in terms of how they dole out contracts. So there's that with Thomas Thibodeau. So let's get to our player season reviews, the underdogs, if you will, man. And today's player, you know, we covered Deuce, we covered Hart, we covered iHeart, and today's player, we got to talk about Precious Achiuwa, man. Precious Achiuwa, acquired by the Knicks in the New Year's Eve blockbuster trade for OG Anunoby in exchange for RJ and Quick. Precious came through, for many people, myself included, a throw-in in the deal, but, you know, given that the Knicks did need big man depth at the time, he said, all right, you know, fine, see what he can do. And he went from throw-in to absolute necessity for this New York Knicks team to survive and tread water in the way that they did in the second half of the season and in the beginning of this 2024 calendar year. Played 49 games for the Knicks, starting 18, and averaged 7.6 points, 7.2 boards, 1.1 assists, and shot 52% from the field. And I remember when I saw this guy first few games, I'm like, man, this guy's bum juice. Like, real talk. Real talk. I was not high on the guy. He had no hands. Was making mistakes left and right. But you got to give guys time to get acclimated, gain chemistry, and give credit to him. He stuck with it. And as I said, he became a major factor for this team. And his best month with the Knicks, he had a stellar February, man. Let me just pull this up. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. KFTV Knicks Weekly, presented by Manscaped. Let me pull these numbers up real quick because his month of February was outstanding. He averaged in February 12 and 10, 38 minutes a night. His minutes shot up to be first and foremost. He went from 18. He doubled his minutes from January to February when Julius went down. 38 minutes a night. And he averaged 12 and 10. Shot 50% from the field. Didn't see a three-pointer he didn't like. Definitely didn't want to see him taking them, but he wasn't afraid. Showed some versatility out there. He was guarding fives. He was guarding fours, some threes. You saw him guarding Siakam in this Pacers series. So he showed some versatility out there. But the biggest thing was his grit and just being another player that can buy in to Tibbs' culture and philosophy. And so he just fit right in. After a short time of struggling, fit right in. So he had some impressive games there. Great job by Precious. And even in Game 4 against Philly, I was there. They lost Bojan. Then you had foul trouble between Hart was getting worked by Embiid that entire game, the entire series, but it happens. Hart got into foul trouble as well, so Tibbs had to go to Precious after all of that. I thought Precious in that fourth quarter, third and fourth quarter, he made some big plays on both ends of the court. Well, good job. Mel Bester 9, happy birthday, man. It says this is birthday. Shout out to Mel Bester 9. Everybody in the chat, throw a happy birthday to Mel Bester. So that was Precious, man. Great job. The Bronx kid really carved out a role for himself here. And now the question is, will he stay? Because as we look at Precious Achiuwa's contract, he has, let's pull it up here so to everybody in the chat, hit that thumbs up on Free Boy. He has he's a restricted free agent. He is a restricted free agent. So there it is. The club option has been exercised. $4.4 million cap hit. And based on who we talked to, I think if you guys remember the Bobby Marks episode, and if you didn't watch the Bobby Marks show, when it comes to Knicks offseason, that is literally the best show that we did all year. And that's the best show you're going to find if you want to really know the ins and outs of this Knicks offseason. Every single player, every single scenario. Go watch that Bobby Marks show. And, but, he thought like everybody else did, the conventional wisdom is that the Knicks intend to allow Precious Achiuwa to test the market and go from there because they have so many other priorities that he's a low priority player, unfortunately. Great story, but I think he's a low priority player for them right now. And in the center rotation, Hart is going to be first. What's up with Mitch? OG's contract extension. Is Brunson truly intending to sign that extension early and give them a discount? So Randle. So you have a lot of priorities there where Precious Achiuwa's deal, I think they can afford to let him test out free agency. If they're able to get him back on the cheap, cool. If not, thanks for your service. I think that will be the ultimate fate for Precious Achiuwa. But he did great here, man. He did great. And there's just so many guys that when guys got hurt, they stepped up. He's a big factor. He was definitely a big factor. So what do you guys think in the chat, man, in terms of Precious Achiuwa? Would you run it back? By all means necessary, bring him back. You giving him a mid-level? The mid-level's at like 12.5. Not sure they can really afford to do that. When you can potentially go get somebody in the draft or get somebody on the vet minimum which is where I think they'll go. But we'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens. Mel Besser says, I'm 30 today, but I feel like 20. Okay, salute to you. Salute to your youth, man. Enjoy it. Embrace it. It goes by fast. And if you're a Knicks fan, it goes by very fast. They'll age you. Make sure your pacemaker and everything is tuned up for the 24-25 season. But happy birthday to Mel Bester. Shout out Butter Love on the Facebook. He says, sucks. Knicks season is over. Yeah, but hey, you got KFTV, man. Number one show for the fans by the fans. Absolutely. And fellas, man, one more before we get to a big holiday weekend. Father's Day is coming up, and my guys at Manscaped have you guys covered, man. They got Dad's Day covered from head to toe, literally, and that is with the number one men's grooming tool above and below the waist. That is with Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com. Use our code KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping. Shout out to our guys at Manscaped as we celebrate our 100th episode of Knicks Weekly. Shout out to Manscaped for their support, so go out and support them as well, man. You can get Pops Lawnmower 5.0. Go get him the Handyman Close Shaver. Get him the Beard Hedger Kit. Literally everything that you need for your grooming needs, for your grooming style. Manscaped has you covered. And along with the tools, they have shampoo, conditioner, body lotion, ball deodorant, foot deodorant. Literally whatever you need, fellas. So there's no reason for you to be out there and your grooming and your hygiene standards, and your grooming and your hygiene is not up to par, especially in the summertime. You know that in the summertime. Don't be going in the subway without, taking care of business, all right? That's all I'm going to say, especially you guys in New York. It gets hot out there. So, like I said, go to manscaped.com, use our code KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping. Okay, now, once again, we have the draft show coming up at 9 o'clock. But for our franchise channel members, it is your time to win. All right, so here's what we're going to do, TM. Let's go ahead and filter the chat. TM, if he's still with us, is TM still with us in the chat? Let's go ahead and filter the chat to channel members only while we get our trivia question ready to go. And they just said Dan Hurley turned down the Lakers job. Wow. Okay. So does that mean J.J. Redick? Is J.J. Redick back? Is he back in consideration? Ty Lue went back to the Clippers. Yeah, Dan Hurley turned it down. Okay. All right. Not our problem, but good for him. Who wants that type of stress anyway? And then you have all the I need Knicks fans to look at me people who are saying, well, he should really just wait for the Knicks job, or he's waiting for the Knicks job. Absolute nonsense. Here we go. This is another person. You had Cowherd, you had somebody else, and now here's another guy, Ian O'Connor. Dan Hurley made a very smart decision to stay at UConn. I think he'll win another championship, a ring or two, then finish the final 10 to 15 years of his career coaching the one team he was meant to coach, the New York Knicks. I mean, how desperate are these people? Knicks fans, please read my stuff. Read my tweets. It's ridiculous. Here we go. Here's another one. Here's another one. Let's look at these and laugh here. Here's this. Who's this? Amy Murray, number one Duke basketball fan. Okay. She's got no credentials. He'll wait for the Knicks job or Northeast NBA job to open. All right. So there that is. Let's see. The only NBA job Hurley should consider is the Knicks if and when Tibbs is gone. Guess Hurley's waiting for the Knicks job. Look at all this. You can't make it up. You can't make it up. Here it is. Here it is. Bozo Colin Cowherd. I'm Dan Hurley. Wife is from New Jersey. Wait until the Knicks jobs open up. It will. It's the NBA. So now, is that before or after Jay Wright? I mean, listen, anything's possible. Never say never. But I just talked about it. Tibbs is here. Tibbs is here. But look at all this, man. Okay, here's a guy with some sense. Sam Quinn, CBS. I hate all the actual Dan Hurley should want the Knicks job nonsense that's been floating around. Knicks have a coach, a very good one who's about to sign a long-term extension. It's lame as hell to basically say Hurley should wait for the Tom Thibodeau to get fired. That is it. That is it right there. Sam Quinn from CBS gets it. I mean, can we stop the nonsense? Can we please stop the nonsense? Here's this guy, Amico Hoops, and people have been getting on him because he's never right on anything. According to Amico Hoops, the NBA job that Hurley is looking for is with the New York Knicks. I mean, Knicks for clicks has gotten this desperate. It's crazy. They haven't. It's to the point, man, where we don't even wait until free agency or potential trade season now. We've got to talk Knicks at all costs. The only difference between us and them is we're bringing substance to the conversation. That's all. We're bringing substance to the conversation. But to each his own. If that's what you're into, that's what you're into. Okay. All right, so TM has he has filtered the chat. Thank you, TM. And as we celebrate Knicks Weekly 100, we got to shout out TM for their service. Okay, so here it is. Let me get my my trivia theme music on to spice this up a notch. Okay, so here it is. Like I said, the winner of today's pack is gonna get the Kith t-shirt, Knicks Kith branded t-shirt. You guys are into that? All the cool kids, right? You're gonna get the Randle Kith poster. All right, shout out to Julius. And you're gonna get a playoff towel straight from the Garden. It's upside down. Straight from the Garden. All right. You know, you were doing all of that in the Garden playoffs was crazy. It was a phenomenal experience. If you missed it, this is for you. Okay, but you got to answer one question. And the question is, which college did Precious Achiuwa attend? We're keeping it on topic. Which college did Precious Achiuwa attend? My franchise channel members, talk to me. You guys know basketball. We're talking draft tonight. Let's keep it on topic. We'll keep it simple. Let's go. What do we got? Okay. All right. Well, TM, we just make sure the timing is accurate here. I see a potential winner. Make sure that that Nightbot has captured this accurately. I think the winner is TM. I think the winner is, is King Deej. I think the winner is King Deej. But just make sure, because I see Muhammad came in. Check the timestamps. We have to verify. We gotta verify. All right, but if it is King Deej, congratulations to my guy Deej, man. Well deserved. We will we'll get you the pack and get to it, man. Great show, everybody at home. Thanks for tapping in. I hope you guys enjoyed this show. Like, share, and subscribe, man. Continue to support the wave. Like, share, and subscribe to KFTV, man. Number one show for the fans by the fans. We will see you tonight. Second half of the doubleheader. Draft talk starts up tonight. Bring your questions, bring your comments, and let's dig into this, man. 24th and 25th pick. Let's talk about it. Salute to our sponsors at Manscaped. Support our sponsors at Manscaped, man. Manscaped.com, promo code KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping. And yeah, man, salute to my franchise channel members. Happy birthday, Mel Best at 9. I'm out of here, man. Peace.